Happy Tuesday to you, everyone. Thanks for joining me for Facebook Live devotions for Tuesday, May 12th. Thanks for watching yesterday. I had some technical difficulties with the Chrome that I was using, Google Chrome. I had to update that, so that's why I wasn't on for live yesterday. So we're back and we've got all those technical things figured out. I'm getting pretty techie here, sitting in my office in the attic. I hope that you are having a good day and that you continue to learn from our study through Proverbs. We're going to be in Proverbs chapter 12 this morning. Remember, a proverb a day keeps the devil away. We're going to continue working with the date and then going to the proverb. As you turn to Proverbs 12, we're going to be in verse 1. Once you remember those four things, continue to remind ourselves when we read Proverbs. Proverbs are principles, they are not promises. Remember, Proverbs, they contain two lines or statements. They either compare, contrast, or complete one another. And we're going to see a really great example today of contrast. So remember, they compare, contrast, or complete. These are meant and written to be easily memorized and understood. And then they are written from a father to a son to help him understand and to grow in his wisdom, which is the application of knowledge. Chapters 10 through 15 of Proverbs is about a contrast between two different lifestyles. Now, think about this as Solomon writes to his son. He wants his son to be successful. And as we watch documentaries and as we get to interview people, people want to know what's the secrets to success? What makes successful people successful? What did they learn? And we want to try to imitate that. We want to try to mimic that so that we can have success as well. If you have wrestled with that question, Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1 is going to help us give that key to success. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaser for verse 2 to be able to know and learn how to become successful. So with that in mind, let's look to Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. Now, I've looked at different translations, and every translation from the NASB to the New King James to the ESV, the CSB, the New Living Translation, all of them translate this part of the verse B as he who hates correction is stupid. And that is really in your face, and it's really difficult to read, and it's hard to understand. So we're going to walk through that in a couple of minutes as we continue to learn Proverbs. So let's go ahead. Let's break down the first part. He who loves instructions loves knowledge. All right. They love lessons gained through wise instruction. Now, let's not forget that when we are being corrected, it is painful, but correction is often a good teacher. You never want to make the same mistake twice. I was thinking of a good illustration, and a couple of years ago, I was working on our garage door opener, and I was trying to install a new motor for the garage door. And I was working up on the ladder, and I was trying to be quicker than I should. I was rushing around, and I was trying to get done quicker than I should have, and I was being careless. And I put the head of the ratchet onto the bolt that was into the motor of the garage door that was being held up on the rafters. And in my hurriness, I went and tried to get it done to get inside to do something else, and I wasn't paying attention, and I was working too quick, and that ratchet slipped off and it whacked me right in the head. And that really hurt. And I've heard it said 100 times, you've got to slow down and you've got to be careful. Don't rush. I've told the girls, don't rush. And yet what did I do? I went and I rushed. And what happened? The ratchet slipped off and it whacked me right in the head. And from that point on, I learned a valuable lesson. I learned that I don't want to make that mistake again. And so I learned from my mistake to not rush when I'm working with a ratchet on a ladder with a bolt and bringing that ratchet to me. So those that love instruction, they love knowledge. They learn from their mistake. They have a desire to learn, and are not excited about correction, but when correction comes, they see it as a friend and not an enemy. Why? Because they want to grow in their knowledge and in their wisdom. Why? Because they want to be able to grow in their wisdom, which is the application of knowledge. So whoever loves instruction loves knowledge. Before we leave this part, you need to be able to surround yourself with people that are going to tell you the truth. That goes in very well and ties in very well with Proverbs chapter 11, verses 14, which is what we covered yesterday. A wise person is going to surround himself or herself with a group of advisors. And if you want to go back and look at that proverb we looked at yesterday, it would be on the 11th of May. So we see here that if you want to have instruction, you've got to surround yourself with godly people, with wise people that are going to help you learn from your mistakes. They're going to help you grow because you as a leader, you as a person, you want to succeed. How do you succeed? You come to love knowledge and instruction so that you don't make the same mistake twice. Good thing for you to sit and think about is, what mistakes have I made? What have I learned from those mistakes? And was there people in my life that were trying to speak truth into my life to help me avoid those mistakes? And so a smart person is going to learn from their mistakes. We would love to be wise people and learn from someone else's mistakes, which is what Proverbs 12:1 is teaching us. Let's learn from our mistakes because we are going to grow in our knowledge and application of that knowledge. Let's look at the second part. But he who hates correction is stupid. Well, stupid comes from the Hebrew word, and they compare that with they're dumb like an animal. They don't learn from their own faults. They're blinded to their own faults. They don't want to listen to correction. They just want to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. And that's the definition of insanity. Continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. And so he who hates correction, he who doesn't want to learn from their mistakes, that does not want to listen to instructions, they're going to continue with the same mistakes. And they have no desire to do what is right. They have no desire to learn. They just want to do what they want to do, and they don't want to learn from those that want to teach. And so we need to be able to have success. We need to learn from our mistakes, surround ourselves with people that are going to help us learn from our mistakes, speak truth into our lives when we do make mistakes, and then we need to be able to learn from that, knowing that no one is going to get it right all the time, but we should be able to grow in our knowledge and not hate or forsake the correction. Did you see the contrast here in 12:1? He who loves instruction loves knowledge, but then the contrast comes in the second part. He who hates correction is stupid. I hope that when you watch this and that you read the rest of this, that you're going to want to be people that love knowledge and not desire to be stupid. Verse 2 tells us really the key for success is a good man obtains the favor of the Lord. If you want to be successful, you need to walk in the ways of God, live in obedience to him and his word. But a wicked man of evil intentions will be condemned. The wicked, they have evil plans, they have evil desires. That word wicked comes from the word crafty, which takes us back to Genesis chapter 3. So you have Proverbs 1 and 2, Proverbs 12, verses 1 and 2, that helps us go, we need to learn from our mistakes. We need to be corrected and not make the same mistake twice. But ultimately, we need to obtain the favor of the Lord and walk in obedience to his word. If I can help you anyway, please reach out. Please private message me. And I would love to walk through this time with you as we continue to learn from the book of Proverbs. Have a great Tuesday and have a good and godly day.